Good morning, afternoon, and evening, wherever you are, and welcome to another NerdTube Dragon Ball Daima report. Today, we are reviewing episode 3, amply titled Daima. I'm joined, of course, by my Z Fighter in arms, Major Rage. How you doing, my friend?
Doing great. Proud to be here as always. It's always fun to talk about Dragon Ball with you.
Ah, yeah, I know, right? All right, so this episode, we finally get to go off world technically and head into the demon realm, which is another universe, but still kind of a part of the same universe. I'm still trying to figure out the dynamic on how all this works with, like it's not a parallel universe, it's still a part of the universe 7, but it's a realm within universe 7. So yeah, so we'll break it all down. Maybe you have a better understanding than I do. So you got any first of all overall thoughts? What did you think about this episode, Mage?
I enjoyed this one. It's pretty par for the course for what we've gotten so far. Starting to branch out though, get new locations. Starting to get that original Dragon Ball feel to it, to my mind.
Mm-hmm.
With getting to a village, coming in, getting in trouble with locals, that sort of thing is classic early Dragon Ball.
Yep. So yeah, I agree. I think that the pacing is good right now because as I said last week, I'm done with the lore dumps, and really we got a little bit of that in the beginning with how to get to the demon realm. It was kind of a lore dump, but also kind of like showing the exposition. It was necessary, so I don't hold it against it. So I do really appreciate though we get to see how we get to the demon realm and everything like that. Yeah, getting into shenanigans with the locals. Um, man, the art in this show though is just top tier. This is
Oh, it's
not
so
Dragon
gorgeous.
Ball Super level, episode 5 level of animation. They really went all in on this.
They really did. The locations are gorgeous. The animation is smooth. The fight choreography for the fight sequence I thought was great.
Mm-hmm. So we get off world and we head to Warp Sama, who is essentially the gatekeeper um of the demon realm, or well, passage between the demon realm and the normal realm. How do you like this convention, or do you think that it should be something a bit more, because it seems a bit almost like there's parts of it that seem like robotic and like technological, and then there are parts like the some of the parts seem magical. So it's almost like a techno magic type thing going on. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
I've
I
always dug techno magic kind of fusion things. Maybe
always
it's
knew
the
you were a
final.
Doctor Doom fan.
Oh no. But I was thinking more Magitech armor.
Ooh, yeah. Final Fantasy
But
6.
um, Warp Sama was pretty cool. The whole techno magic angle I thought was neat. The jokes were what was I was focusing on there. That whole sequence had me busting out laughing.
So I am gonna this is where I am gonna knock the episode a little bit. Not that I hated it or anything like that, but like the whole, oh, Goku's a blubber, like he's like the idiot that like, oh, you're like a goldfish, and then he irritates. Like, how many times have they done that though, where Goku like innocently is doing something and then it makes everybody mad? Like I kind of like, I rolled my eyes when I saw it, and as I said, it didn't break the episode for me, but I'm just like, okay, yeah, so here's the ignorant Goku, you know let's call him Dragon Ball Super Goku, because Dragon Ball Super Goku was really dumb. um Coming back and being the blumbering idiot, like making everybody mad for the laughs. Um, so, um, so okay, so yeah, so we got those shenanigans. They go through the Eye of Agamotto, which was what I first thought of when I saw the little portal inside the goldfish looking thing, Warp Sama. Um, what did you think about the fact that their ships are faster because they move on magic? And I feel like that is a callback, at least, and maybe this is just headcanon for me, to why the Namekian vessel was able to go so fast to Namek. Now, I don't know, like, if Professor Briefs was able to replicate that for Goku's ship to get him to Namek, but you notice, like, it kind of was the same thing. It's like when Bulma first got into the Namekian ship and started it up and they flew to Jupiter, it kind of had that same vibe as this ship does. So I don't, again, headcanon, there's nothing confirmed about that, but just kind of like, so is that Namekian craft also ran? Because they never really specifically that I remember mentioned it in Dragon Ball Z, whether it was ran on magic, it more seemed technological, but maybe there again was some kind of techno magic where, and maybe that's why the ship was able to fly so fast.
Perhaps. I don't recall them mentioning anything magical about it back then. I think they were making a concerted effort to move in a more technological direction at that point of the show.
Yeah, back in the what was it early? No, it was, yeah, early
Late
90s or
80s.
late 80s at that
It'd
point
be the late 80s.
where everything was kind of being like, oh, it's got to look technologically cool, whereas nowadays we're more like techno magic, yeah. And I mean, I figure Bulma can figure it out. I mean that remember last episode, even when Bulma was trying to figure out the other craft, Supreme Kai's craft, um, you know, so yeah, I
There's
don't know.
nothing that family can't reverse engineer.
Yeah, I was about to say. I mean, yeah, they can do anything really. Anything from the first half of this episode before we get into the demon realm you want to bring up? Anything that you jotted notes down on, or anything before we head into
Um,
the demon realm?
I thought it was neat that we got that like drop that the Supreme Kai is something called a glend from the
Hmm.
second demon world. They did
Yeah.
that quick little lore drop, and they're building up the mystery angle of Glorio pretty heavily.
Mm-hmm.
When this little scene where Shin asks him, well, "What kind of work do you do in the first demon realm?" Oh, Gesundheit.
Thank you. Sorry.
Um, and he goes, "Oh, this and that."
Oh yeah,
I
they're going to build up that mystery for a while. I've seen so much theory crafting online about him. It's just like like some people think he's one of the people in the running for being being a new king. Some people just say that he's just kind of caught in the middle. Some people say that he's related to somebody of royalty in the demon realm. I don't think he's obviously related to Deborah. He looks nothing like Deborah. Um, all right. But yeah, Supreme Kai then tries to tell Kibito the pin number, which he fails, which I don't think he actually failed. I think he got it through just in time and he just doesn't realize it. I thought he was, honestly, when he put his fingers up like this, I thought he was going to instant transmission. So
It is interesting that it's the same kind of motion.
yeah, the transfer of information rather than the transfer of a person. Um, so we get into the in between, and we find we see the gates to the three demon realms, which I think we at least saw them. They weren't explained to us, but maybe we saw them before in the first episode, I think. um so then yeah, we head into the demon realm, and what a spectacle that was. I mean, holy
Oh
crap, that
yeah,
was.
eye candy all over.
And honestly, like you can tell that it was very like Toriyama driven, because it's very creative and very, I don't want to say off in a bad way, but like just it feels off. That's what gives its like definition.
It's fantastical in a very unique kind of way.
And that's
That
very Toriyama. Like, Toriyama, that's like Toriyama's toy box, with that fantastical imagery and stuff like that. Did you happen to catch that when they came out of the warp sama in the demon realm, they came out his butt?
yeah, he pooped them out.
I swear to you, I know there's a note somewhere from Toriyama that says ship comes out warp sama's butt, or however he would say it, like I swear to you, there's a
Oh
note
yeah,
somewhere where Toriyama said that's got to be how they come out.
Needs to be in a museum.
Yep. So yeah, so we get a little bit more we get a little bit more exposition. There's a big hole in the ground when they first come out, after you get the glory shots of everything, which is apparently the way you can travel to the other demon worlds. So I'm trying to figure out if, like, because they say they these three different the three different demon planets, or whatever they're calling them, are they, or demon worlds? So are they like big worlds, or are they like planet worlds? You know what I mean? Like, is it just three planets and just you can go to either or, and there's ways between each of them? Or is it different realms, kind of like sub realms of the demon world? And this is where I'm kind of lost on the lore of the demon realm. I'm not a demon realm aficionado like some people, and I don't know if you might, but it makes me wonder if there's like a whole universe in each of the three demon realms, or if it is more like it's just a planet part, demon world. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
The implication seemed to be that it was more like its own realm, but it could be limited to just one planet each. They're not very specific. I think they're keeping. Toriyama likes to be vague on purpose,
Yeah,
not explain anything unless it's absolutely necessary to drive that plot forward, and leaves a lot of room for speculation or
yeah.
just lore building in the guides.
Yep. Goku does address the elephant in the room. He's like, "Wow, demon world! Like, I thought it'd be more creepy." And they're like, "Oh no, that's not." And I mean, I that's what I thought originally. Like, before the demon realm was explained to me, when I started doing a little bit of research on it, and now I've seen demon realm stuff from like Dragon Ball Heroes, watching Geekdom 101 videos, stuff like that, like, where he explains demon realm, so I knew going into this that it wasn't like a quote unquote, it wasn't hell or a devil realm, like it is just a different realm. Like, it is not evil, it is not good, it is its own thing, kind of like, just like the regular, the normal realm. So when we get there, they land, and there's like a mist, for a Final Fantasy 9 reference here. There's like a mist, and it kind of makes everything heavy, not like heavy as in like gravity, but like heavy as in harder to make things move, like their fists and jumping and everything like that. So I thought that was very interesting. I mean, it definitely gives us time to spend with Goku not being like the super mega ultra fighter that he used to be, like he's not like, because we know Goku can fight whether he's powered up, powered down, like, and so this kind of gives us a little bit more time for Goku to kind of figure out. And I feel like this is good because this gives us a chance to kind of like grow with Goku in this, not him like,
Yes.
the first threat he comes upon, he goes Super Saiyan 3, and like that's it. You know what I mean? Like, I just whips them all.
Yeah, no, we get some ramp up time and get to see a progression of power increase. I think that'll be good. It'll help the storytelling's flow.
Yeah. I also kind of hope, and maybe this is the case, maybe this is why we haven't seen Super Saiyan yet or anything, but I kind of wish that there in the demon realm there's different energy. So like they can't use, like they can't just gather basic key. There's a different key there, because what is a Kamehameha? It is key just gathered, either from within or from around, focused and shot. So it's like, it would kind of be nice, and maybe they will explain, because we haven't seen really any key blasts or anything yet, or even Super Saiyan. But maybe that would be a good thing. Is like, yeah, well, Demon Key is different than, so Goku then has to learn how to use Demon Key. You know what I mean? Kind of like God Key. I
Yeah,
would not
that would
mind
be
that at
cool.
all. I think that is a good way, again, to nerf Goku in a logical way. And I'm all for nerfing Goku. Because I feel like Dragon Ball's gotten to this point where, you have to nerf, because you either change characters or you have to nerf Goku because he's just too powerful, for normal shenanigans.
Agreed. And I wouldn't mind seeing that kind of slow build up to kind of rebuild his kit, as it were.
Yeah, good.
Have
That's a good way to say it. Rebuild his kit. Yeah.
Yep, add the key. He's gotten his flying back under control. Now he can build up back to key, then eventually to Super Saiyan.
Mm-hmm. So we get it more glory shots through the demon realm, and we come to they say, okay, well, we're gonna have to rest first, and then we're gonna go talk to the third king of or the king of the third realm, the demon realm. So of course we get our Tatooine moments where we come to, we had to make this comparison because Toriyama loves Star Wars. He loves Star Wars so much, and I don't blame him. Some of that early Star Wars, stuff is just gold. And like honestly, like Tatooine and some of that stuff is great. I love it. And I think honestly that's some of the stuff, and I'm not comparing it to. I'm going to try to stop this, but that's kind of some of the stuff that in GT worked, was like when they were kind of going into those like places that were kind of shady, and those dive places, and I kind of like some of that in GT. So but yeah, I think so. We get the we get the apartment, or not the apartment, the hotel, and the guy wants to charge him 300,000, right? The 300 or
Like
30, I don't remember.
30,000. It was like 30,000 of the currency.
Yeah, and so Glorio gets mad and
Flashes the
negotiates him
gun.
down to 5,000 a room, or 3,000, one of the two.
Oh, he shook him down hard, man.
Oh
He
yeah.
wasn't. He was. They were trying to shake him down. He wasn't having it.
Yeah, right. And so, so guess what? Goku's hungry.
Who'd have thunk it?
Right? So after they get their keys, then they walk across the street to this little saloon. And of course, shady characters. So one thing I want to point out though is that when we get to the city and when we get to the saloon, is did you notice that a lot of the people in the bar had a lot of like similar characteristics of Evil King Piccolo's minions, like Tambourine and Drum, and so it makes a lot of sense now that, like, see, this is the kind of showing lore that I love. They didn't like outright tell us, like Goku didn't go, "Wow, you guys look like Evil King Piccolo's minions," and then show us like shots of them.
Flashbacks.
But
Yeah.
it's like that's the like the inkling that I got, because a lot of these guys just look like Evil King Piccolo's minions, like similar, not carbon copies. But I was like, holy crap! So that's why those like King Piccolo's minions, because Namekians are from the demon realm, and those people and this is the demon realm, so it's like that's why they look like that. They didn't look Namekian when they when he created them. They were just demon like realm people. I was like, holy crap. My mind was really just kind of blown at that moment. What did you think of that?
I was seeing more Dragon Quest character designs. I didn't even make the connection, but now that you pointed out, they do look more like Piccolo Daima's minions, his children, as it
Yeah.
were.
Because I mean, if you think about it, none of them look like Piccolo. Like they didn't even have
No,
antennae. Well, maybe some of them did, but like they still had that look of like these characters. So
no, great.
I made that connection to me, and maybe it's just because that's how my brain works. But like I was just like, and maybe people will tell me I'm wrong, but I made that connection immediately, and I just like it just kind of like the oven timer went off in my head, went bing. I was like, holy crap!
I've
Especially the
always
big green dude. He reminded me of Drum so much.
and it's always bothered me that the King Piccolo's other children didn't look like a Namekian, whereas Piccolo Jr. looked just like Demon King Piccolo and the other Namekians. Now we kind of have had shown to us that reason why,
I'm
and
trying to
so
remember with the way that the Namekians. So there's the Dragon Clan and the Warrior Clan, right? There's the two.
yes,
So so was Evil King Piccolo? Evil King Piccolo was a part of the Dragon Clan, right? or no?
He's split off of Kami,
And
who can make Dragon Balls, so he has to be of Dragon Clan.
okay, so they're both of Dragon Clan. I didn't know if that like changed but so it's like I mean maybe it had something to do with the way that they move things around. Or the way that they do that. I don't know. There's just me kind of working through it in my brain, that little thing that wobbles around in there that's held together by duct tape and tinfoil. What do you have anything else to add? I know I've kind of been at a breakneck pace here. What do you have anything to add up to like the bar scene, like before we get into the
No,
final
no,
sequence?
no. The bar scene's my favorite part of the episode, so we can just break it down now.
All right. So fighty time, yeah, so Goku gets his 5 hamburgers, and of course, Glorio and Supreme Kai get their drinks. And Glorio actually shows us a little bit of fighting acumen, which we all knew he probably had. Like I mean, he's obviously nowhere near probably the level of Goku, but he definitely is able to hold his own against these bar patrons. But then as soon as he sees Goku start fighting, I love how he just sits down and starts drinking again. He's like, "Ah, Goku's got this."
That was a good touch. And Shin, of course, is going nowhere near it.
Yeah. So I did want to take for the thumbnail for this review. I did want to take like an image of Goku fighting with the hamburger in his mouth,
Hamburger in
but I
his
didn't really.
mouth.
Yeah, I didn't really see. I'm gonna go back and look again. So if the thumbnail changed, that's fine. But like I wanted to find one with Goku fighting with but there was not really anyone that was like super good, and I was like, okay, like you get the point, but it wasn't a good shot. You know what I mean?
Right. I know what you mean. Wouldn't make a good thumb. But
Yeah.
no, that whole sequence was so hilarious. He's fighting with hamburgers in his mouth.
Yeah, very, very Dragon Ball-y. And as I said, that's what we figured we were getting in this. And so, I'm going to say something a little bit counterintuitive to what I've been saying the past 2 weeks is that I think really that this is kind of the mistake, or not this is, but like this is the way to do it rather than the mistake that they made with GT. You know what I mean? Like with GT, it was like, let's make Goku young and then let's still make everything kind of the same, like everything like that. Whereas I feel like this, they're actually doing, they are doing it a service because they are putting them in a position where, and yes, I know going out into the galaxy is like kind of out of the wheelhouse of Dragon Ball, but at the same time, they've been on Namek, like they've been in space before. There's no, I mean, I know a lot of stuff has kind of happened, like on Earth recently, like between Cell and Majin Buu since the Namek stuff. But still, I mean, I don't know. It's still, I feel like they're doing, again, I'm being counterintuitive of what I said earlier in this, but I feel like this is Toriyama again, like Broly, taking GT and saying, I'm gonna make this good. Here, I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna make this good. Here, let me just give me a minute. Like, and you know what? I appreciate it. I really do. So yeah, I think and then at the end of the episode, their spaceship gets stolen. So now we're gonna have shenanigans where we have to go and get their spaceship back next episode. I mean, I'm sure that'll just take us, somewhere on the planet that they're on or in the realm that they're in, and they're gonna have to fight some shady characters. And yeah, I don't know. Any other thoughts from the episode?
No, just to piggyback off what you said about taking the GT mistakes and fixing them, I feel like having it feel more like the original Dragon Ball is a very good call. And I think that Toriyama was doing it on purpose. Like, because this episode reminded me a lot of the Master Carrot episode.
Hmm. Well, and I mean, and I don't want to say like, so
But I mean that in a good way. I don't mean that it feels like a rehash.
that's
I
what
mean that it feels like it's got that sort of charm to it, that sort of level of threat.
And I
Just
think that doing the demon realm was the single smartest idea, because you opened it up to nerf people organically. Because in GT, in the in the Black Star Dragon Ball Quest, or whatever you want to call those, first 17, 18 episodes, it just seemed like, like they made Goku a kid, and yes, his power level dropped, but he was still able to get to Super Saiyan, Super Saiyan 3, like it was pretty apparent that Goku had no struggle really to adjust to his kid body, other than getting used to his kid body. Whereas we're in the demon realm, so there are multiple ways to, like, to nerf things organically. That's one thing that I think Dragon Ball Z did really well. They nerfed Goku, like, and they took him out of play in organic ways, like the whole Ginyu thing. When he got body swapped and beat the crap out of and everything like that, then Goku got back in his body. He was nerfed, but that's a good way to nerf him, because they had to put him in the chamber to heal while everybody else had to take care of everything. So and I guess the heart sickness, a roundabout way, is a good way to nerf Goku, but like it still feels like they're doing things right this time around. And again, I'm not trying to compare it to GT. I get it, but it's almost impossible not to, though, if you know what I mean. Like,
it's impossible not to, because the premise is so similar.
yeah. But as I said, if this is like Broly, where it's like Toriyama takes something that was made for Dragon Ball that he did not make, and he takes it and he makes it better, I'm all for it, because I think Toriyama can do it. I really do. I think he can do it.
I have faith in the project. I was very wait and see about it, but I've been enjoying it so far, and am looking up forward to next week.
Yeah, me too. I think they're going about this the right way, and I'm glad I'm wrong, because I thought it was just going to be a little bit more of a rehash of, when we first started talking about it, I was kind of like, oh, this is just gonna be a rehash of GT. But it's like, the more we get into it, the closer it got, the more I'm like, okay, wait and see. And I am so I'm not going to say that I absolutely love it, but I'm not going to say that, like, it is bad in any stretch of the imagination. So it hasn't hit the love it for me yet, but I am glad we have new Dragon Ball stuff. All right, so now that I'm done rambling on, unless you have any other final notes, I think we should mark it and get the heck out of here.
That sounds like the move.
All right. Episode 3, Dragon Ball Daima. I think I'm going to sit on an 8 for this one. I believe I gave last week. I know I gave the first episode a 7. I think I gave last week's a 7 too, just because it was a big lore dump, but still good. I do believe that now that we are in the demon realm and we are seeing lore, not just being told it, I think it's a step up. So I'm going to give it an 8. As I said, I'm not, just because I compare it to GT does not mean I am, it's kind of like Lord of the Rings. When I talk about comparing, the Rings of Power to the books, it's like, I'm only comparing it to compare it. I'm not saying, oh, this is better than this. Actually, if anything, Daima is doing way better than GT is. And I'm not a GT stan. I don't like a lot of things about GT. So, if anything, this is just doing right by itself. So, what are your thoughts?
I enjoyed the episode. I liked the tone. I liked the original Dragon Ball feel. So I'm going to give it an 8 as well.
Awesome sauce. All right, what did everybody out there think about this episode of Dragon Ball Daima? Please leave your comments and rankings below. If you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe to NerdTube, the greatest YouTube channel you kind of maybe sort of heard of. Catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Oh yeah, I forgot. It's Dragon Ball. Oh well.